You're not tired. You're just tired of being soft. You're not lost. You've just been living without pressure. And you're not stuck. You've just been avoiding the truth. This is the speech that will make you hard. Not dramatic, not fake motivation, just real words for real people who are done wasting time. If you've been letting your feelings decide your effort, if you've been doing just enough to get by, if deep down you know you're capable of more, but keep delaying it, this is for you. This talk will hit you because it's the truth you've been avoiding. You won't hear fluff here. You'll hear what you need to hear. Straight to the point, no filter. This will wake up your discipline. It will push your thinking. It will change the way you see yourself. Watch this to the end, because after this, you won't live the same. Chapter 1. Tell yourself the truth, no matter how hard. You know, one of the hardest things a person will ever do in life is look themselves in the mirror and tell the truth. Not just the surface truth, not the version of the truth that sounds good when you say it out loud, but the truth that stings, the kind that makes you uncomfortable, the truth that exposes what you've been hiding behind. That's the starting point for strength. That's where you begin to build yourself. That's when things finally start to shift. You can't build a strong life on top of lies. Not lies to others, that's one part, but the lies you keep telling yourself, those are the ones that hold you back the most. You wake up every day and you say, I'm trying, when deep down you know you're not really giving it all. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, when you've been saying that for years. You say, I'm just tired, but the truth is, you've been avoiding your own potential because showing up fully takes more effort than you're used to. See, telling yourself the truth hurts at first, but it saves you from long-term pain. You don't grow by lying to yourself. You don't get stronger by pretending everything is okay when it's not. Real growth starts when you sit down with yourself and say, this is where I am. This is what I've done. This is what I've avoided. And this is what needs to change. Most people don't want to do that. They want comfort, they want peace without discomfort. But there's no peace without truth. You might distract yourself with entertainment. You might stay busy all day. You might surround yourself with noise so you don't have to face the silence. But sooner or later, life brings you back to reality. Life exposes you. Life doesn't care about your excuses. Life responds to who you are, not who you pretend to be. And when you look at your life and you're not where you want to be, ask yourself, have I really been honest with myself about what I want, about what I need to do, about what I've been avoiding? That's where transformation starts. You've got to stop sugarcoating your weakness. You've got to stop defending your bad habits. You've got to stop telling yourself you're just tired, when the truth is you've let discipline slip away. Because the person who lies to themselves never gets better. They just get better at lying. You know how you really build strength? By facing what you've been avoiding. Maybe it's that your work ethic is weak. Maybe it's that your emotions control your day. Maybe it's that you start things but never finish. Maybe it's that you're too focused on looking good in front of others while falling apart inside. Whatever it is, face it. Say it out loud. Name it. Don't run from it anymore. Because anything you don't confront ends up controlling you. Juan Ubani, you have to say, this is where I fall short, this is what I need to work on, this is where I've been soft, this is where I've been hiding. And that kind of honesty, that's hard. But that's what makes you hard too. That's what makes you real. That's what makes you sharp. And that's what separates you from the people who will always stay stuck. You're not going to grow by watching motivational videos and hoping your life changes. You're going to grow by doing the uncomfortable work of getting real with yourself. You can't fix a problem you won't admit exists. You can't change your direction until you admit you've been walking the wrong way. And it's not about feeling bad. It's not about guilt or shame. It's about responsibility. It's about saying, I want a better life, so I'm going to stop lying to myself about why I don't have it yet. You want confidence? Tell yourself the truth and fix what's broken. You want peace? Get your habits right and stop justifying poor choices. You want to become strong? Then stop pretending weakness is okay. Real strength isn't in acting like everything's fine. It's in saying, this isn't fine, and I'm going to do something about it. That's where your power begins. Some people spend their whole lives hiding behind half-truths. They say they're working on it, but nothing ever changes. They say they just need more time, but waste day after day doing nothing that moves them forward. The truth is, they're scared. They're scared of pressure, scared of effort, scared of what it would take to become who they're meant to be. But here's the reality. If you keep avoiding the truth, you also avoid the solution. You avoid the opportunity to become someone stronger. You have to train yourself to tell the truth early, every day. When you wake up, ask yourself, am I really doing what I should be doing? Not what you feel like doing, not what looks good on paper, but what actually builds you into a stronger version of yourself. If you can't answer that honestly, then don't expect growth. Don't expect results you didn't work for. You've got to wake up and face it, that maybe you've been wasting time, that maybe you've been talking more than doing, that maybe your standards have slipped. And the beauty of this realization is, the moment you tell the truth, you take your power back. Now you're not stuck. Now you're not pretending. Now you can actually do something about it. You'll never regret being honest with yourself. You might regret wasting time. You might regret staying stuck. You might regret letting yourself slide. But truth, no matter how painful, always opens the door to real change. And once you start living in truth, you feel differently. You walk differently. You look at yourself differently, because you're not lying anymore. You're not running anymore. You're not hiding anymore. And that changes everything. You don't have to fix your whole life overnight, but you do have to stop lying about it. Start with that. Start with the real talk, the kind that makes you uncomfortable, the kind that cuts through the noise, the kind that says, I'm not okay with where I am, and I'm not going to lie to myself about it anymore. That's what makes you hard. That's what builds your core. That's what makes your mindset unbreakable. Not the fake confidence, not the pretending, but the raw truth, faced daily, owned fully, acted on consistently. And it's not easy. It never will be. But it's the only way out of being soft. It's the only way to grow past who you used to be. It's the only way to become someone you can actually respect. Don't be the person who lies to themselves for years just to feel better for a few minutes. Be the person who tells the truth today, even if it hurts, so they can live stronger tomorrow. You owe it to yourself to stop living in denial, because the moment you start telling yourself the truth is the moment you start building the kind of life you're truly proud of. And that changes everything. Chapter 2. Break the version of you that plays safe. Most people live small because they choose safety over growth. They build a routine that feels familiar. They surround themselves with comfort. They avoid doing anything that brings real pressure. But the truth is, nothing changes when you keep playing it safe. The version of you that's always looking for the easiest way, that version has to go. That version keeps you stuck in the same life, thinking the same thoughts and getting the same results. If you want to change your life, You have to break the part of you that avoids discomfort. You have to crush the habit of doing just enough. You have to stop trying to protect yourself from every little challenge. The comfort zone feels good, but it's the slowest trap life offers. It tricks you into thinking you're okay while the clock keeps ticking. You're not here to coast. You're not here to survive. You're here to build. You're here to push. You're here to face hard things that force you to grow. Playing it safe is not strength. It's fear in disguise. It shows up when you hesitate, when you say, "I'm not ready yet," when you tell yourself, "I need more time." That voice inside that says, "Play it cool. Don't try too hard. Stay under the radar." That voice isn't your friend. That's the voice that keeps you average. That's the voice that wants you to blend in, not stand out. And every time you listen to it, you kill a little bit of your potential. The safe version of you says, "I don't want to take risks." But life doesn't reward you for being safe. It rewards you for being bold. It rewards action. It rewards effort. It rewards the ones who do what most people won't. If you wait for permission to be great, you'll wait forever. You don't need permission. You need to decide that the old version of you, the one who keeps holding back, doesn't belong in the life you're building. That version of you is too cautious, too careful, too worried about what other people might think. And here's the problem. You can't grow while staying worried about how you'll be perceived. You can't build strength while living to avoid judgment. The people who achieve real progress are the ones who stop protecting their image and start doing the uncomfortable work. Growth is not about looking good, it's about getting better. And getting better means you'll mess up, you'll look awkward, you'll be misunderstood. But if you avoid that, you also avoid the reward. You have to be willing to try, even if you're not perfect. You have to take steps forward, even when it feels risky. The version of you that plays safe is always looking for guarantees. But there are no guarantees. You could fail, you could get rejected, you could fall short, but you could also rise. You could surprise yourself. You could build something meaningful. You could create a life that makes you proud. But only if you're willing to break the version of you that keeps hiding from pressure. That version wants to avoid embarrassment. It wants to avoid effort. It wants to avoid everything that comes with becoming more. But you don't become more by staying the same. You don't grow by protecting your ego. You grow by pushing through awkward stages. You grow by stepping into things before you feel ready. You grow by putting in effort before results show up. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Playing it safe makes you weaker over time. You lose the edge. You stop stretching your limits. You stop challenging yourself. You lower your standards. And once your standards drop, your identity follows. Suddenly, you're the person who used to try, the person who used to have goals, the person who had potential but never used it. That's the slow death of ambition. But you don't have to go down that path. You can make a new decision. You can say, "I'm done protecting the weak version of me." You can choose to do something today that stretches you, that scares you, that demands effort, that demands courage, because that's how you change. The life you want is not found in comfort. It's found in the moments where you feel pressure, but you keep going, where you feel resistance, but you don't back down, where you feel fear, but you act anyway. That's where progress lives. That's where growth begins. That's where the hard version of you is built. One choice at a time. Nobody wakes up one day and becomes unbreakable. It happens from years of choosing the harder path, from stepping up when it's easier to step back, from doing more when you feel like doing less, from staying locked in when distractions try to pull you away. That's how you build grit. That's how you earn confidence. That's how you gain respect, not just from others, but from yourself. It starts with the decision to stop living soft. Stop giving yourself permission to settle. Stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop making excuses for your average results. Stop accepting a version of you that avoids growth. The question is not whether you have potential, you do. The real question is, are you willing to destroy the version of you that keeps wasting it? The one who avoids responsibility, the one who stays quiet when they should speak, the one who scrolls instead of builds, the one who complains instead of improves. That version is not your future. That version is your prison. Every day, you're either feeding the weak version or building the strong one. And you build the strong one by choosing things that make you uncomfortable, that make you grow, that demand more from you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stop playing it safe. Your comfort zone is not your friend. It's where your dreams go to die. It's where your best self gets trapped in laziness and fear. You know what's worse than failing? Never knowing what you're capable of because you stayed comfortable. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need more honesty. You need to admit that playing it safe has cost you too much already. It's cost you time, it's cost you confidence, it's cost you growth, and it will keep costing you, unless you stop protecting the weaker version and start building the stronger one. This is your moment to break free. This is your moment to say, I will no longer choose safety over strength. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to move, one hard choice at a time. One uncomfortable decision at a time. One action that proves you're no longer okay with being soft. Because at the end of your life, you won't remember the days you stayed safe. You'll remember the days you broke through, the moments where you pushed past fear, the hours you chose effort over ease, the times you said, I'm better than this, and I'm going to prove it. Don't let fear of failure define you. Don't let comfort hold you back. Don't let the old version of you control who you become. You're not here to stay soft. You're here to rise, to build, to grow, to break everything inside you that says, stay small. And when you do that, when you stop living safe and start living with purpose, that's when everything changes. Not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. You earn self-respect. You gain real strength. And most of all, you prove that you are no longer the person who hides from pressure. You are the one who walks into it and comes out harder, sharper, better, stronger.
Chapter 3. Get serious with life before life gets harder. There's a moment in every person's life when they're forced to face what they've been avoiding. That moment doesn't come with a warning. It shows up when you least expect it. Life has a way of waking people up. And it doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't care if you feel prepared. If you don't take life seriously while you have the chance, life will make the choice for you. And when it does, you won't have time to prepare. You'll either respond with strength or you'll fall apart. Too many people are waiting. They keep saying they'll get focused when things calm down. They'll start changing when they feel more motivated. They'll fix their life when the timing feels perfect. But time isn't waiting for anyone. Life is already moving. Days are passing. Opportunities are slipping. And the hard truth is that if you don't step up now, you'll pay for it later. What you don't handle today will come back louder tomorrow. What you keep putting off will eventually take something from you. Your time, your energy, your future. Getting serious doesn't mean you become rigid. It means you stop treating your life like a practice round. This is it. This is the time you have. And if you're wasting it by being casual, distracted, unfocused, you're not just losing hours, you're losing growth. You're losing power. You're losing the edge you could have built if you just locked in. You can't play around with time, because while you're laughing it off, life is preparing challenges that don't care if you're lazy. Life doesn't bend to your level of effort. It demands results. It demands strength. It demands clarity. When you don't take your life seriously, you lose control of your direction. You wake up one day and realize you've been drifting. You look back and see months wasted, decisions ignored, responsibilities avoided, and it's painful, because deep down, you knew better. You just didn't do better. You knew what you needed to improve, but you kept distracting yourself. You knew the people you needed to cut off, but you kept entertaining the same cycles. You knew the habits that were making you weaker, but you kept going back because they were easy. That's what happens when you don't take yourself seriously. You let the easy path become your pattern. You let average become your identity. You let soft habits shape your future. And one day, reality hits. Life gets harder. You lose something. You're forced to face real pressure. And suddenly you realize you're not ready, because you never trained for it. You never prepared your mind. You never built the strength that comes from choosing hard things before they become mandatory. There's no warning before life changes. One phone call, one decision, one mistake. One moment can change everything. And if you've spent years playing around, avoiding pressure, looking for shortcuts, you'll fold. Not because you're weak, but because you didn't take the time to get strong. And now you're forced to catch up, only under stress, under pressure, with less time and more problem. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can make the decision today to treat your life with respect, to take your growth seriously, to start building the version of you that can handle anything. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you take ownership. You take responsibility. You stop treating your future like it's guaranteed and start acting like it's earned. Because it is. You earn a strong life. You earn peace. You earn confidence. You earn respect. None of it is handed to you. And if you keep waiting for life to slow down before you take it seriously, you'll always be behind. You'll always be reacting. You'll always be reacting. You'll always be catching up. The people who succeed don't wait until it's convenient. They step into the work now. They decide that discipline matters even when no one's watching. They understand that growth is uncomfortable, but being unprepared is worse. There's a weight to life. The responsibilities, the stress, the uncertainty. If you don't train for it, it breaks you. But if you step into it early, if you prepare, if you grow, if you commit to becoming better, that same pressure builds you. It makes you solid. It makes you capable. And when life gets harder, because it will, you're not caught off guard. You're not scrambling. You're ready, because you chose to take things seriously before life gave you no choice. That's the power of maturity. That's what separates those who lead from those who crumble. It's not age. It's not experience. It's the decision to show up with intention every single day. It's the choice to treat your time, your energy, your habits, your words, your mind, like they matter. Because they do. Everything you do is either building you up or breaking you down. There's no neutral. There's no pause. Every moment counts. And the sooner you realize that, the stronger you become. People who don't take life seriously waste it. They laugh through every consequence. They avoid accountability. They point fingers when things go wrong. But none of that builds character. None of that earns success. None of that prepares you for the storms that will eventually come. Look around. Life isn't slowing down. The world doesn't care if you're tired or stressed or unsure. The world keeps moving, and you have to decide if you're going to move with it or get left behind. That's not fear, that's reality. That's how life works. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It rewards the ones who step forward anyway. And don't wait for a disaster to change you. Don't wait for a loss to teach you what you could have learned through discipline. Don't wait for everything to fall apart before you finally commit to being serious about your future. By then it's harder. Not impossible, but harder. Because now you're rebuilding in the middle of pain. You're starting over in chaos. You're trying to stay focused with fewer options. But if you start now, if you stop making excuses, stop blaming others, stop playing games with your potential, you create a foundation that can hold your future. You build habits that protect your progress. You train your mind to stay calm under pressure. You learn how to lead yourself even when life doesn't go your way. Getting serious with life means you stop needing reminders. You stop waiting for someone to push you. You wake yourself up. You push yourself forward. You handle your business. You set your standard, and you don't let anything pull you away from what matters. You've got goals. Then your actions need to match. You've got dreams. Then your effort needs to match. You've got people depending on you. Then your character needs to show up daily. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being responsible. It's about building a life that reflects your values, not just your emotions. Discipline won't feel good in the moment. It never does. But neither does regret, and at least discipline gives you something. At least it builds something. At least it moves you forward. The alternative, wasting time, staying soft, avoiding growth, only leads to disappointment. You know what you need to do. You've known for a while. The issue isn't clarity. It's commitment. It's consistency. It's the decision to stop giving your attention to distraction, to stop chasing temporary relief, to stop talking and start building. Because life isn't waiting for you. And the longer you wait to get serious, the harder it becomes to fix what you've let slide. The habits become stronger. The mindset becomes weaker. The gap between where you are and where you could have been gets wider. But you're not stuck. You're just one real decision away. One shift in your thinking. One new commitment. One honest day of work. And when you do that once, you do it again and again until it becomes who you are. That's what it means to take life seriously. You don't just think about what you want. You act like it matters. You build it. You earn it. And in the process, you become someone you can trust. Someone who's prepared. Someone who's ready. Because life will get harder. That's guaranteed. But if you're stronger, more focused, more grounded, it won't break you. You'll rise with it. You'll meet it head on. And you'll win. Because you didn't wait. You didn't waste time. You got serious before life forced you to. And that's how you change everything.
Chapter 4. Build discipline when no one is watching you. The real test of who you are happens when no one's watching. That's where the truth lives. Not in front of the crowd, not when you're being praised or noticed, but in those quiet hours, the ones when it's just you. No feedback, no applause, no validation. That's when it counts. That's when the voice in your head tells you to relax, to slow down, to take the easy way out, and that's when you have to decide who you're going to be. Discipline isn't something you turn on when people are looking. It's something you do when nobody cares. It's the extra reps when you're alone in the gym. It's the quiet mornings when you get up and work even though nobody will know if you don't. It's showing up to your goals even when it feels pointless. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you build something real. Not because you want recognition, but because you know deep down this is who you need to become. Most people only perform when someone else is keeping track.
They work hard when they're being evaluated. They behave differently when they're under a spotlight. But that's not real character. That's performance. And performance fades when the attention disappears. Discipline, on the other hand, stays. Discipline builds when you keep your promises in silence. When you say you'll do something and you follow through even when the world isn't watching. That's what creates internal respect. That's what creates trust in yourself. You don't earn self-respect by being loud. You earn it by being consistent, quietly, repeatedly. Even when your emotions tell you to quit, even when it's boring, even when the progress is slow. That's when discipline becomes your edge. It becomes your strength. Because in those moments, you're not driven by mood. You're driven by choice, by intention, by responsibility. There's power in doing what needs to be done with zero attention. That power compounds. It grows with time. It builds confidence. Because you know you're not faking it. You're not pretending to be disciplined for approval. You've earned it in the dark. You've earned it in silence. And that kind of discipline, no one can take from you. When you build discipline in private, it shows up in public. You don't need to talk about how focused you are. You don't need to prove anything. The results will speak for you. Your energy changes. Your habits improve. Your mindset becomes sharp. Not because you were trying to impress anyone, but because you've been living with intention behind closed doors. A lot of people talk about grinding. They talk about hustling. They talk about goals. But talking doesn't change your life. Action does. And the action that matters most is the kind that nobody sees. Waking up on time when your bed feels comfortable. Finishing the work when distractions are everywhere. Training your mind to stay locked in when everything around you feels lazy. That's what builds power. It's easy to talk about discipline when life is smooth. When you're motivated. When things are exciting. But that's not when discipline is tested. It's tested when you're tired. When no one's holding you accountable. When you don't feel like showing up. And you still do. That's discipline. Not the highlight reel. The boring stuff. The consistent stuff. The repetition that seems small, but over time, separates the strong from the average. If you need someone to watch you to stay consistent, you'll never make it. Because life isn't always going to give you someone to check in. You won't always have someone pushing you. That has to come from within. You have to get to the point where your standards are higher than your feelings, where your expectations for yourself matter more than your comfort, where you do the hard thing simply because it's the right thing. Building discipline means treating your goals like they're non-negotiable. You don't skip the work because the weather's bad. You don't break the routine because your mood is off. You don't delay the progress because it's a holiday. Your standards don't change with the day. They're set, and they stay set, because you're serious about where you're going. And that seriousness doesn't need an audience. A disciplined life is a focused life. It's not chaotic. It's not reactive. It's structured. That structure gives you peace. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you from being pulled in every direction. When you know what matters, you stop wasting time on what doesn't. And that clarity gives you an edge most people will never have, because they're too distracted to build it. Discipline also teaches you how to manage your emotion. You stop reacting to everything. You stop needing to feel a certain way before you move. You stop giving energy to every passing thought. You understand that your mind doesn't run the show. Your decisions do. You act with purpose, not impulse. That shift is everything. That shift is what makes you stable. You don't need big moments to prove you're disciplined. The little ones matter more. Choosing to turn off the distraction. Choosing to stay focused on the plan. choosing to rest only after the work is done. Those are the choices that shape your future. And the best part, you don't need permission. You don't need to wait. You can start now, right where you are, with what you have. A lot of people say they want a better life, but only a few are willing to do the boring work behind the scenes. That's the difference. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about consistency. Quiet, repetitive, focused consistency. That's what wins long term. That's what builds greatness. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous, but it's real. And it works. If you can be disciplined when no one's watching, you'll always be prepared. You'll never be thrown off when life gets chaotic. You'll know how to stay grounded when pressure rises, because you've already trained for it. You've already practiced showing up without needing attention. You've built the skill of doing hard things just because they need to be done. That's what makes you hard. That's what builds toughness. Not noise, not motivation, not empty promises, but showing up, repeating the right actions, even when you feel like no one cares, even when the results are invisible, even when your progress is silent. That's when discipline is formed, and once it's formed, it becomes part of you. It becomes your advantage. It becomes your identity. So stop waiting to be noticed. Stop waiting for the perfect time. There's power in being unknown. There's strength in being low-key. That's where the best growth happens, not under lights, not in front of crowds, but in your own space, in your own time, quietly becoming better, quietly sharpening your habits, quietly creating a life that reflects the effort you've put in. You don't need noise to build something powerful. You just need honesty, consistency, effort, and time. If you do the right things long enough, they will pay off. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but eventually, the discipline you've been building will put you in a position where others wonder how you got there. They'll call it luck, but you'll know it was hours in silence, days of repetition, moments when you chose to stay focused instead of falling off. And when life gets harder, because it always does, you won't panic. You won't fall apart, because you've already learned how to hold yourself together when no one's there to remind you. That's real freedom. That's real strength. That's the power of building discipline when no one's watching. And once you have it, no one can take it from you. Chapter 5. Show up even when everything feels against you. There are days when everything feels off, when your energy is low, your thoughts are heavy, and nothing seems to go your way. You wake up already behind. Things don't flow. You feel misunderstood, unsupported, and overlooked. And in those moments, the easiest thing to do is to shut down, to disappear, to skip the day, to say, not today. But that's the exact moment when showing up matters most. When everything feels against you, your response defines your strength. It's easy to stay consistent when life is smooth. It doesn't take much effort to do what's right when everything is lined up in your favor. But life doesn't work like that. Real life brings resistance, distractions, delays, criticism, pressure, and the only way to grow through it is to stand up and show up anyway. You're not always going to feel motivated. You're not always going to feel prepared. That's not weakness. That's reality. But if you let your emotions control your action, you stay stuck. You keep waiting for the right moment. You keep hoping life gets easier, but it doesn't. What gets stronger is you. If you choose to act regardless of the conditions around you, some days you'll wake up exhausted, not just physically, but mentally. Some days the weight of everything you're carrying will feel like too much, and that voice in your head will try to talk you out of progress. It'll tell you to rest longer, to start tomorrow, to slow down, and that's when you have to be stronger than the voice. That's when you remind yourself that growth doesn't stop just because life got harder. When you push through on the hard days, you build more than momentum. You build identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who doesn't give in. Someone who does what needs to be done even when it's hard, even when no one notices, even when it would be easy to walk away. That's what builds pride. That's what builds confidence. Knowing that even when everything felt off, you still kept your promise. People want results, but they avoid resistance. They want strength.